think we should. I think that's the way it is. So, on the controls, I am showing that you are streaming. Yeah.
I always get so nervous.
Why?
Because I'm live on YouTube. You're not nervous?
Not even a little bit.
That's amazing.
They're not here for me, though.
They're not really here for me.
Well,
they just want the information.
You think?
And I'm happy to give it.
I don't know. I think they're here for you. Nobody's here for me.
I hope your sound is better. Do we have like some people?
You know, let me check. I'm not sure if we do or not. So,
hopefully April shows up.
Angela's here. Typical Gemini, Angelica Conrad. We have. Yep, we're filling up here. So,
how's the sound, guys? Is it better? Good, bad, ugly? I'm prepared for ugly. Remember to extract the questions. I'm April, OakWilde Designs. She asked me She asked me to tell her about how I take my card photos, but that's like a gigantic question, okay? And it's really hard to answer via Instagram Messenger, or I can't remember where she messaged me, but any kind of messaging. I don't want to type this. How can I get the stream, hun, so I can read the comments at least behind the...
Well, I mean, everybody's coming out. I'm just running through the checks and make sure everything's going well and the stream's healthy. So,
all right, how did you get it over here last time?
Everything looks good. All right, so hang on a minute. Yeah, we'll let everybody look at you being...
Oh, sorry. I'm freezing.
Stop it. Give me that.
I'm gonna stick my hands down your pants. That's inappropriate content.
My penguin pants. I can understand.
My hands are freezing.
I can understand how my penguin pants are irresistible. They are comfortable. All right. So. Dun, 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 dun. What have you done?
I'm sorry.
What have you done?
This is really riveting content about photographs.
Here.
Okay.
Don't touch anything.
Thanks. That's way better.
All right.
Thank you, April. Yes.
All right.
We need heat. Okay.
You know what we really need? A production team. We need to train some of these minions.
They're not going to help me be warm.
No. That's true.
I mean, I feel like I have a cold nose like a dog. Anyway, April.
She's here, by the way.
I want to know some actual questions, okay? Because when you say, how do you take your card photos? That's a great big question, because I started taking my card photos with my phone, like many people do. But in that same process, I was learning how to use my DSLR camera. So, and that is like that could be 8 videos right now. Okay, so I need to know like kind of specific questions that you have so that I can answer them, or at least know where to start. Where are most people when they just have a phone and they're taking pictures of their cards? You need good lighting, right? Hey, Tim.
Yes.
Do we need more lighting? Because these are off.
We can...
Does anyone feel like they're in the dark? Or we can show the difference. That would be a good lesson.
That's probably a good opportunity. Actually, Nora just mentioned that she wanted to see detail like shimmer. So I'm actually, if I'm going to mess with the lights, I want you to try to monitor the questions really quick.
Okay. So right now I have, these are 4 lights or 2 lights up here. I can't remember. I get them all confused.
There's 4 bulbs in
4
each.
In here, and then 5 in those.
Correct, and they're all 45
all
watt.
45 watt bulbs, and they're all sunlight. They're all natural light. They're not natural light. It's not the sun, but it is, when you look at the spectrum of light, there's like 5,200 Kelvin or
it's higher than that, but
something like that, is like white or natural light. And I'm not an educator, so I can share with you my knowledge, but it's probably going to be confusing and slightly inappropriate. Who knows? But so now he's turned on all of the lights. So now you can see just now how different everything is. Can you show them now? I guess we didn't do kind of a good before, but
on the
down.
Put something on your work surface.
What do I have to put on my work surface? I have embellishments.
Okay.
How's that?
Hang on. Switch over to the down camera.
I'm freezing.
Here we are. Okay.
Okay, so right now they're all kind of, and these are webcams. I do not use webcams to take my card photos, but you can see how much the light is changing things or allowing you to see things differently. So a lot of people like to light their background so that you yourself are well lit and the background's well lit, and then there's like a blurry spot in between. And that's depth of field, and that would be another video.
We're gonna cut down some of this light.
Okay, so now we're turning off a lot of the lights that are facing me or on the right side.
This is half the lighting.
Okay,
so see how lopsided it is.
And you can see how there are shadows on one side of the screen. There's more light over here. Clearly, that is like the one light patch. So the more light you have and the more surrounded by light your thing is. I need some cards. Can you hand me a card that people can see? Give me Mario.
Mario?
Yeah.
Again, it's webcams. So
yeah. So when you're taking your card photo, this one has been through the ringer. Dexter has, look at that. Oh my goodness. It's been well loved. Okay, so when you're taking your card photo, and I can't really see what's going on because Tim took away my monitor.
I did?
Yeah, because I was looking at the camera monitor and not the live feed.
Well, sorry,
anyway,
but you do your job. I gotta do mine.
The more well lit your card is, or the more light you have to work with, the better your photo is going to be, clearly. So that's why people say it's all about lighting. And natural light is awesome. Like if you go outside to take a picture of a human being, you won't find better light, and especially the magic hour, which is like where the sun is about to set or rise in the morning or in the evening, and that's when the lighting is the best for you to work with. The rest of the rest of the work is in the camera. Okay, so you have a cell phone camera that has highly functional lenses in it. So that's what you're using. And so you might not need all of this light. You're going to look at your space and find out what kind of lighting you need for your space or what is reasonable. This is unreasonable lighting. Wouldn't you agree, Timothy?
Well,
not for a normal person.
No, but for a normal person,
so,
this is a little bit excessive.
I don't expect all of you to run out and get all of these wattage of light bulbs. That's ridiculous. This is insane. So you don't have to do exactly what I do. You can do what works best for you. I'm just telling you the gist, I guess.
Well, and I think so you've kind of touched on the natural light. I mean, everybody would agree that natural light is really going to be best for lighting for photography, but and you've touched on the color temperature. All of these bulbs, just for your own edification, they're 55 degrees Kelvin. Which we have found in our house, in our studio, the way things are set up, is that gives us the whitest white. So
can you put the camera on you so at least if they're having a hard time hearing you, they can...
No, they've said that the sound is good.
Okay.
I simply assume that it's right. But it's we found that here in this studio that 55 degrees Kelvin is the appropriate color temperature to give us the whitest white, which is going to give you the best colors.
When you're representing color, you want the best or truest color when you're taking your photo, right? So that's why sunlight is so great, because your camera is seeing what your eyes see, right? When you're looking into natural light.
Well, as close as possible.
Right. Then so lighting is everything. If you have a camera, it doesn't matter what it is, and great light, then you're going to be able to take a good photo. It doesn't matter any of the rest of the stuff. Is all you go up from there. So I prefer, because she had mentioned like the size ratio.
Well, I don't want to get too far ahead because I think that I just want to try to get most of this stuff in order as much as possible.
Keep me on track.
I'm trying to. So
Thank
you need
you.
I got
That's
to
why
reel
you're
you in a
here.
little bit.
Thank you.
As we get on the list, one of the things that I think is important is to maybe talk a little bit about shooting with the phone and shooting with the camera, because and I think you should differentiate that kind of right out of the shoot, you know what I mean, and try to establish, because there are different techniques for both.
Do you feel like I've offended the camera community by comparing the two or lumping them together?
Not at all.
Okay.
I just think that you're going to have, an overwhelming majority of people that are interested in this topic are going to be using their camera phones.
Okay, so let's get comments from the peanut gallery. Who uses their phone versus who uses some other type of device or camera to take your photo of your card? Okay, so are you using your phone, or are you using a DSLR, point and shoot? Are you using your kid's play school toy? Because that takes photos. Your kid's DS. Hey, found a lot of card photos on Dex's iPad there.
Oh, and that little point and shoot that we bought him last year
he was trying to record his own card videos on his little play school camera, so it can be done.
All right. Well, as the ticks are coming up here, it looks like the majority are using phones, and it's interesting because you started with your phone.
When I had my first blog, or before I started to learn how to use the DSLR. That's all I had was my phone. I didn't have another camera. So you just do the best that you can. That's why I know it can be done with your phone. And now, I mean, you can get depth of field with the portrait settings on the iOS. I can't speak for Android users. I have been an iPhone user since like 2, I think, back in the day, when all you had to be with AT&T to get an iPhone. That's how long. So I can't speak for Android users, but I'm sure they are very similar or have similar types of things. And so the portrait mode on your phone here. Let me try to. I hope there's no inappropriate pictures. So the portrait mode on your phone is really cool because you can get that depth effect depending on if you have light. If you have enough light, if you don't have the light, then you're going to get grainy and it's going to be blurry and it's not going to be good, right? So you have to have plenty of light in order to get a good. And I like, which I was starting to say and you told me that I wasn't allowed to, was I like the 1-to-1 ratio. I like square photos. I like a lot of square things. It's weird. So I tend to be drawn to the square 1-to-1 photo. So I use that on my blog. I use that in Instagram and Facebook and all the others. I know that that's probably not normal. That's what I do. So as far as the size, I shoot raw camera footage, like raw videos. Or raw video and photos, and that's a really big file. So you have to condense that down to a JPEG or MP4 when you're transferring those files. So as far as the size of, I would say shoot your picture in the largest file size that you can, and then do all of the things that you need to do to it, and then you can then condense it to a smaller, more manageable file size, which is like 800 by 800 is my typical go-to. So does that, if I don't make sense, please tell me.
No, I think I think people understand what you're driving at.
Right. So then, if I was using my phone, I would then use the portrait mode with lots of light. I would tap the center and make sure that my card was in focus, and snap the picture. Now, I would then make this square and adjust the light or whatever if I needed to make it a little bit better. I use, when I shoot my raw photos of my cards. Then I put it in Lightroom and I do adjust the crop and I tweak it. Not more than like 5 points, I think, in any setting in Lightroom, and then I shrink it down to a more manageable size. I hope that makes sense. If you're using your phone, all of this can be done on your phone. Lightroom has an application on your phone that you can then open it up, make it square, make it brighter, make it the shadows a little bit more intense, make it as what you see in front of you. Okay, so you want it to look as much as like your card as possible. You want that red to be as true to the red you used or the color coordination that you worked so hard for, right? I made this, it looks good together. I want it to actually look like that in my photo.
Well, and I can tell you that just in the difference in what I actually see when I look over there versus what I see on this screen.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With these cameras, with these and these are HD cameras. These are not, the low definition cameras. And even what I see over there, the difference on the screen it's significant.
So as far as the backgrounds and stuff, April, because I saw that you were asking about like the setting the scene of my card photo. I assume that's what you're asking, right? I have a collection of stuff that I've collected from craft stores, Goodwill, from my house, Target, pretty much anywhere.
Yeah.
Pretty much anywhere, and I basically when I look at something, say I see a plate, okay, and it just looks pretty. It looks like it would go well behind my card, okay, and so I'll buy it and I'll bring it home, and someday after bringing it home, I think, man, that plate would really look good behind that Mario card that I just made. So I go and grab the plate, and while I'm setting up my card, I have to go grab a few things. I'm sorry that I have to leave the camera. Look at Tiff. Oh, where's my plate? Okay, I'm back.
It was exhausting.
I'm back.
Whew.
All right, so I went and got a few things. Some things that help me set the scene, okay? These are photo boards. These are from a far, far away, okay? So I paid a lot of money to buy these. Then I found out you could buy them in the U.S. So depending on where you are, or you can make your own. It's really a very good photograph of this wood, this dark, I don't know, what kind of wood is this, Tim? Dark wood?
I mean, it's some type of a mahogany.
Right,
I mean, it would be a stained cherry.
Whatever it is, okay? It's a really great photo of this wood, and it's been nicely placed on the photo board, and it's really a great...
It's a nice product.
Yeah, it's a really nice photo board, okay? So I'm not recommending them. I would buy them again, and I'd pay the same money, honestly, because they're so good. So
but they are expensive.
They are, but you can try to make your own. I don't know if I would, but
that actually had us looking into potentially buying a large format high definition printer.
I have some really great photos. Maybe I could, and then I'm like, nope, that lost interest. So here's a plate. You want to do the down?
Yeah, I'll switch it here.
Okay, so here we're setting the scene for Mario. I don't know if this is exactly the scene that I would set, but whenever you're taking a photo also, and you're looking down, you have to think of it on a plane, okay? So every one of these is a layer, and your camera is going to focus on whatever layer you tell it to, okay? In auto, it's going to do it automatically. But in manual, it's going to focus on whatever you tell it to focus on. Okay, so you want to keep your card the first thing that your camera sees. Okay, so when you do this and you have part of your card down here and part of your card up here, your camera is going to focus on whatever it is on a plane. Am I making sense, Timothy?
Yes.
You're not paying attention.
No, ultimately, really, it's the same thing it's really the same function as when everybody's making their cards. You know, when they're popping things up and they're giving it that dimension, they're doing it because you want your eye to identify the different three-dimensionality of it. So
we want to, when you're
thing.
setting this up, you have to remember that your camera needs to know on what plane you want it to focus. Okay, so I use these. This is a candlestick and some type of plant thingy-mabobber. I don't know what this is. I'm sure somebody else does. And the really cool thing is I have multiples of these, and you can stack them on top of the candle. Isn't that neat? And you can make it as high as you want. If you need like to put an elephant behind your card, there you go. It's a lot of water thingy-mabobbers, but
so see if we can't trick this this webcam. Stack it up real quick. See if we can't.
Like this?
Yeah. I wonder
Do you think it'll?
I don't know. Now I'm all nervous to mess with the settings. Maybe I shouldn't.
Then they won't be able to see. Anyway,
no, it might break
but you can
something.
see how the card is up here. Now you're all going to go back and look at my photos and be like, now I see it. Now I see her cards on a pedestal. I see it now. Because what you're doing is you're tricking your camera into telling it to focus on this instead of this plate, okay? And sometimes if it needs more light, I've made this handy thing. I've got a bigger one too. Blinded by the light. This is a piece of poster board and some tin foil and washi tape. Look, it has trees and honeycombs. But this is what I would use, like...
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You missed it the first time.
No, I
You're
didn't.
not paying attention.
No, I'm not on camera. You just have to look at it.
So, this helps, and I'm sorry that I will stop blinding you guys. That helps with all of this light kind of focus it where I want it to go. Sometimes I want it to be a little bit darker so that I can make a light shine on the side, or maybe set the mood with like a darker, which never works out for me. I always feel like, oh, it's too dark. I can't even see the card.
I'm going to put the down camera on real quick. Can you show a little demonstration on how to redirect some of that light back onto the card? We'll see if we can pick that up. We should be able to pick that up.
I don't want to have to move the lights.
No, don't move the light. Just take the reflector, your homemade reflector you just
Okay,
made.
so usually I'm on a stool, or what is it? It's not a ladder.
It's a step stool.
A step stool. I'm on a step stool up here, hovering just about like kind of a little bit below where I have my camera usually mounted. So if you've seen my videos and you've seen the lens kind of looking down, that's kind of where I am. I'm up looking down. And I try to get my little square because I know that I'm going to shoot a square. Sometimes it's helpful to know what you're shooting so that when you're shooting your square, you can arrange things as though you're looking through the camera. I hope that makes sense. So I want a light meter. If anyone knows of a good light meter, maybe for your phone or something that's not really expensive, but I want to know, because sometimes my eyes don't tell me exactly where the light is pointing. Is that crazy?
No, I'm with you.
Sometimes, like, maybe over here it's more light, or maybe over here. Maybe that's being really super picky and obnoxious. But when I feel like, still this massive amount of heat from the sun from these lights are not enough, I still use this. And it kind of...
You can absolutely pick that up on
You can see?
That's
okay.
perfect.
So
yeah.
like, here it is away. Here it is. Ta-da!
Yeah, you can instantly see how much it brightened up the image.
And it helps the camera see the details of your card. So you worked really hard to stamp these things in the background. And I want to see them. I want to see them on your card. So I that's what I do. I also use fabric. Should we like turn the camera? Are you interested in my like what my background supplies are? My photo background supplies? Because we can like turn the camera. right? It would be like obnoxious for like a minute, and then you guys could see really good.
Well, if we wait while see when folks come back with a little bit.
Let's just do it anyway. Who cares?
We had some other stuff to talk about that other people had asked.
Oh, there's more questions. Should I stop and answer questions? Okay,
I'll
do that.
Reel you. I gotta keep reeling you back in.
Okay.
Try to be mindful. It's not just about you.
It is never about me.
I know. That's why it's so funny. There was a question early on about have you ever used a photo box? And I think this is something that people regularly these are real easy solutions that people are pitched.
Okay, so when I first started taking photos of my projects, I was in the basement with no lights. And I'm like, okay, so how do I get this much light? Because I had this much room. I mean, literally the basement was probably the size of this workspace, right?
And it was only 6.5
It was
feet
smaller.
tall.
The basement was smaller than this room.
Yeah, and it was only 6.5 feet tall.
Right.
Not that bothered you, but
it didn't bother me. It bothered Tip. So I wanted to get. I was like, I'm gonna get a light box. It's cheap, $20. I can get this light box for $20. That's what you get for $20. You get a light box. That's not so great. So it came with 2 lights that looked like purple. They were purple.
And they were
lights.
different colors.
One was purple, one was orange or something.
Yeah, they were markedly
So the color
colors.
of your light is really important. And usually those things cost more. Okay, because that's the good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I had these 2 lights, one purple and one orange, and it shined into the box. And so I had shadows everywhere. So then I thought, okay, maybe I need more light. So we started buying more lights, and so here I am today.
Well, and there's, and I also think it's one of those, it doesn't have to be something that's made from a factory. You can take a piece of reflective material like she's done with the poster board in a cardboard box, spray paint it white. Get a couple of cheap clamp-on lights from your local hardware store and go to Joann's, pick up a couple of lights.
It says y'all sound like you're in a barrel.
Oh wow, no. When did that start happening?
Is that a new thing or the whole time? What's your background noise?
That's probably Dexter.
Singing.
Wow, sorry about the feedback. That's not good.
Oh, the whole time. Mostly the whole time.
Oh wow, no. All right. Well. Dun dun dun.
Is it bad? Should we stop?
Let me see if I can run this down a little bit.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. I started talking. I wonder if it's picking me up twice. I'm not showing a feed on yours.
Should I tap it?
When I talk.
Or just talk?
Yeah, I'm gonna turn down my feed on your cameras a little bit. I'm gonna turn my whole game down a little bit.
Testing.
All right.
How about that? 1, 2.
Koren has an echo, not me. Oh well. Oh no. It seems like everybody's got a different effect here. So.
Alright, I'm gonna start talking and then you can echo on me. We're never gonna figure this out. We need professionals.
Remember what I said earlier. We need minions. We need to, get some of these people that know something.
So, what was I talking about before we got distracted by the...
We were talking about the quality of light that comes with a light box, and I was trying to explain to people that, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. A couple of those out lights, that was a good suggestion for a while, too. Those out lights got you through some low light times.
It's probably different when you switch cameras.
It's the exact same feed. The audio mix is exactly the same on all 3 feeds. Alright, let me reset exactly where we were.
Live broadcasting.
Yeah. Who decides that this is a good idea anyway?
this was my solution. I wanted to help.
Oh well. Here, I can drop my mic out completely. That should wipe out any.
Maybe just turn yours up when you want to say something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Moving on.
Quality of light is really important. Okay, so the quality of light, if you have a really white background of or really white card, so you have a really colorful image with a bright white, pristine background. You want it to look white and pretty, and you want to be able to see your image. So it's also important that when you have this much light, to be able to still have contrast on your card and not be blown out. For whatever reason, it's normal on Instagram to see like really super bright cards that you can hardly see because it's so bright. I mean, I'm not picking on card makers. This is every industry. For whatever reason, it's really cool to have super bright, like, woo, in your face. And, I mean, I guess sometimes it looks really great, but a lot of times, it's too much, okay? It's too bright. You can't see what they're actually talking about because it's really kind of distracting. Especially Tim complains often because he has blue eyes, so it's like there's no shade. So he gets affected by bright things more so than I do. I have to be more cognizant of making Dexter wear sunglasses sometimes because he has really bright, I don't know, what is that part of your body, Tim?
Your eyeballs.
There's going to be some cursing. Anyway, so I started putting a lens hood on my DSLR, which helps the lens look down at the camera and see the details of it, but still have all of the light coming and shining on it. So, but you don't have that opportunity with your, well, you do, I guess, if you buy a lens for your phone, but I can't tell you about that because I haven't. We had a lens
I did that.
on it was like a 4, right?
It was
An iPhone 4.
An iPhone 4, and you bought me I think you bought me a lens for Father's Day. And I took amazing macro photos with that thing. It was really, really quality. It was a quality product and it worked extremely well. And again, I think that was like a $40 lens that you bought for me.
I think it was like the Oleo clips or whatever they sell at the Apple
Oleo
store.
clip or something, but it transformed that phone into something really spectacular. And I got great up close macro photography.
You got to be careful because when you're taking pictures of cards, yes, it's a small thing, and sometimes you want macro to focus on smaller details on your card, but macro also comes with like a fisheye. Okay, so when the camera looks down really close at something, you get the curvature of the lens, and sometimes like the GoPro has super fisheye lens. So if you've ever seen GoPro, at least the older footage, it has like a really fisheye lens. That's what I'm talking about. So sometimes if you see your footage, your video footage or your camera footage, and it has that warping, it's because your lens or wherever you are, whatever distance, right?
Yeah, you're good.
What's the distance of the image from the distance from? I'm still learning this.
Focal length.
Focal length. So that means your distance is too close, so you need to, or too far away, and you need to zoom it in, right?
I'm sorry, I missed this out.
When they're seeing fisheye. When they're seeing fisheye on their photos, if they zoom in a touch, or if they can zoom in a little bit, not so much with your phone, but if they're taking with something else.
You want to essentially what you'll end up needing to do is reduce the distance between the subject and the camera to be able to zoom in digitally later and cut out that fished out or that warped area. And some post-production software can do it.
Okay, so what else? What are some other questions that, because I think we've gotten off track.
Not us, no way. Does the size of the room impact your lighting?
The distance the question was, does the size of the room impact the lighting? I think it's the distance from the camera to the subject. Okay, so if you're taking just card photos, I take pictures of myself all day. Okay, so it's a little bit more to that. But when you're taking pictures of just your card, then it is a much smaller area that you take up. Okay, so all you need is a tabletop. Okay, and for the light to be focused on the card. And so here in this room, I'm the focal point. So I need the lights to light not just me, but all this cool stuff that I have in the background, because I think that's cool. That looks cool to me. So that's what I prefer. When I'm lighting, and it's different when you're lighting down versus lighting at you. You'll notice, I'm not changing the light at all, but here I look really well lit, right? Almost where like you can see almost
You're almost a little blown
almost blown out where it's really super bright. Okay, but take the camera down. Okay, so but it's not that way here. Okay, so it's tricky that when you're doing both, I have a lot of lighting because it's not so much you're looking at me, but when I do the downward, when this is the good stuff here, I want that to be well lit and look good. Okay, so that's why I have so much light, and I think I did a pretty good job, right, hun?
I think so.
I mean, these are webcams, but and you can see that fisheye in the webcam that I was talking about when you're going down.
Yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know that I think I got it figured out to where I can keep her audio good and just drop her mic out completely if I need to talk. That's what I'm trying now. Let me know if that works. I really appreciate the feedback. You guys are great. Thanks for helping me try to noodle my way through this.
I think when you talk to them, you should probably have the camera on you, because I'm just sitting here drinking my drink.
I got enough things to click and point at.
So, anyway, you can see that the downward point, because of the way that the light is hitting right here, so it's hard to light both me and right here. It's very intense. There's a lot of lights. Yes, Dexter is in the next room singing and having a good old time, just like always.
All right, well, the next would be, where is the wine?
Oh, jeez. Didn't I say right before we started that I should have some wine?
You did.
I just didn't plan again for that. Fail. I have Crystal Light, but I have grape. Because purple is power.
I just muted myself.
Please give me some more questions so I can stop talking about football.
I think we go back to you setting up your backgrounds. There was some good feedback. People did want to see that. I just didn't want to get too far ahead without.
Well, we just got the sound kind of so that I can wheel it over here maybe.
Where are you headed?
This thing. The room's not that big.
No, there's things that plugged in hang-ons.
All right, maybe I won't. Okay.
No, you're fine. Go ahead, take it. Y'all see what I gotta deal with? Yeah, it's real.
I look like this is my cart.
She sells things out of it.
I wish my cousin was here because I've turned into my aunt. I'm gonna make her watch this video. So here's my cart. It has all my stuff in it, but I've filled the top with like random stuff, like pieces of fabric, and you'll notice all of these things from my photos. I have a branch, and it has some lights.
Dude, I'm dying over here. The comments are hilarious.
They wanted to see the contents of my cart.
No, but you've completely so you introduced yourself this morning or this afternoon as a hobo. Now you're showing up in your bag lady cart. You know, you got a bag of hooch down there in a paper bag.
No, I don't. Ha! So there. Some of you might have seen it from my craft room tour. It just has my camera equipment in it. You can't see this, but it just has my cameras and my lenses. And then I have, like placemats. Okay. I have these. This is at the craft store, and it was, in the, the flower section. Where you get all the fake flower stuff. Whatever. I don't know what it is. It's a patch of grass.
This is my life.
Okay, that's my patch of grass. I have this one. This was there too. That's a patch of something. Looks like a bush. It's my bush. Oh my gosh. Okay. I also have like some plates. I have like a palm. I have a fish. And just other stuff. I've had this guy a long time. He was for Easter. I got him at Target.
Came from Target, and I want to say it was like 2 days after Easter. We got him for $1.
Oh yeah, after the holiday, you can pick up some awesome stuff like at Target and all that stuff that goes on sale, and it's usually random stuff that you're like, who would buy that? Me. I would buy the bag of acorns when I live in the woods.
Yeah, that was really great. We have literally no less than 25 oak trees that bear acorns every fall. She bought a bag of acorns.
I have like flower stuff. I don't know what this is, but it's pretty. It has green. Look, you want to do the down? So like that's how I would, set up. Look at that. That Mario looks good. That looks really cool. I'd take that photo. You got your little plate with hearts on it. Usually I try to make all of the lines because like that does bother me. Like this, I don't like using this fabric because the lines. It's really hard when you have striped anything or even lines in the wood because, you want it to kind of line up and look good, right? So you got to be cognizant of that.
Do you have, while you're speaking of stripes, do you have anything that's got real tight striping over there that you could show that?
I think I have this
tight stripe
herringbone
effect?
fabric. That's all I have right here. Is that going to do it? When you have you got to be careful with certain patterns on camera, on video at least. Do you think it does it on photo more?
It does. I mean, you can definitely see it on video. This might not be the best pattern for it, but you can kind of see it. The lines and the orientation where they're too close to each other, it actually creates an issue for automatic cameras to pick up, and it creates this almost like quasi motion, and it can really mess up the effect of both photography and the videos if you're not careful. So.
I think Dexter just ding dong ditched us. Did you hear that knock?
I don't care.
And then he ran away.
Yeah, he's not in here. I don't really care.
And I have like other little things. Got like some of these. Usually like if I know that this pattern interests me, then I get it. I've got some leaves and branches in my cart. Ooh, I got these at Disney. In the by Splash Mountain. What was that? Where all the Seven Dwarfs stuff is. Anyway.
Frontier or no? What are you trying to ask me?
It was I don't know, there's like a little place right across from like Splash Mountain, and I can't remember the name of the store now, but they have all these geodes and like rocks and stuff, and the kids can like play with them. It's really fun. But that's where I got from the yard or stole from Dexter, I'm not sure.
We traveled all the way back home to Maryland with rocks in the luggage.
We carried the rocks in our backpack. We carried
Take
rocks.
her mama said the briar patch.
It might be. She might be right. I think that is right. It's like in a tree. That's where we got Chip and Dale too last year or whatever. Anyway, that's where I got these. So I thought they would be cool to add, like, you know, in with my cards. And I've got like ornaments for Christmas. I got these. We went to the Neat and Tangled class a couple months ago, and they had a really cute shop next door. So I got these. This was $1. You know, like I don't pay a lot for this stuff. You know, I pick it up. Tim burnt this one for me. These used to look like these, and then he hit it with a torch.
Turn it up.
Sorry.
There you go.
Yeah. But it's just something cute. I don't know. I'm just sharing. What else can I answer? How long have we been doing this?
You've been on camera for 46 minutes.
Okay, so questions like
Nora just asked if you always take your pictures from above.
I started taking pictures, I guess portrait style, like they were a subject, and I don't know I'm not making any sense. Like, this is called flat lay. Like, this is a flat lay type of photography where you're laying everything flat in front of you, and then, or you can stand it up and it would be like the subject. What is that?
Portrait photographer.
Whatever. I used to do it that way, standing it up. But I often found that I was losing a lot of detail in the things that I really worked hard to put together, like the backgrounds of this. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it on the camera, Tim?
Not really. It doesn't. If you pull it a little closer, actually pull it closer to the camera.
Like that?
Yeah, that's better.
So like, I wanted to be able to get stuff like that, like the details in there, or like the stamping that's back here. And sometimes I wasn't getting that in my card standing up shots. So I started researching flat lay, and I've seen a lot of other card makers do flat lay photography, and of course I'm interested in trying something new, so that's what I started doing. And I filled up my cart with all kinds of cool stuff.
I think it's also important to remember that, you have to be facing exactly what you're trying to photograph to get the right depth of field. Anything other than like exactly on the same parallel plane, you start to lose some fidelity, and sometimes that's intentional. Sometimes you want to do that to give that different perspective, but other times, if you're trying to give you the best, most crisp photograph of your product, you gotta be in the same plane with it where you want it to be focused in order for it to be good and sharp.
I do love my cart. Okay, so do you have any other questions that have been asked?
Nothing has popped up in the last minute or so. Oh well, no. Ada did just ask how many years were you on YouTube, and then there was another one that just popped up. Would iPhone be a good quality to start off with for picture taking?
I've been on YouTube for 2 years now.
2 years, I think.
I think my first video was like 3 years ago, and then I took a year off. That video, I was like, here, you can have that one. And that was terrible, by the way. And then I took a year off and then made some more. So it was like 2 years. So, and then would iPhone be a good quality start off with? Of course, your iPhone has amazing picture taking capabilities. A lot of times when I was doing the stand-up shots, I would reach for my iPhone just to see if I could get another shot, like a multi maybe like a sequence of shots that showed more. Maybe they weren't as bright or as clear, but showed some of the detail that I couldn't get with my DSLR. So it's a great quality camera that you have in your pocket. I always feel like I need to do this because it's so little, but I don't.
There's another thing to think about with that as well.
I'm watching.
No, I lost it. What were you just talking about? I totally just.
Oh, I was, because this thing is so short.
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
threw me
used
off.
to it.
No,
I'm
what were
sorry.
you talking about before you started commenting on that? Because I had something that was helpful. At least I thought it was helpful, and then I derailed.
About the quality of the iPhone.
Oh, nope, it's gone. Never to
How
be
much
seen
more
again.
time do we have?
How much more time do you want?
Well, I sat down and I said I was going to do it for at least an hour, and then but people like it's crazy long.
Here's a good question. It might be something that you use as the transition
Hold
towards
on.
the.
April said she wants tips on. I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, go ahead.
Tips on posting to Instagram. There are great Instagrammers, especially in the card community. Now, typically Instagram, they tell you that you want to design your grid in a certain fashion so that all the photos look similar, so it's pleasing to the eye. I don't really do that. Excuse me. I don't really do that. I post a photo that I like, and that's it. It doesn't have a color tone or anything like that. I use Hootsuite, which I'm not recommending them. That's just what I use because there's a lot of things that I don't like about scheduling through Hootsuite. So I'm just telling you who I use, but there's a lot of problems. So you can't schedule more than one photo. That's an Instagram thing. So you can't do that. You have to physically be on Instagram to schedule the multi-photo posts. I'm not sure what else she's referring to about tips.
Well, and I just, if we could take a step back, I actually remember what I wanted to say. Don't be afraid to, number one, get creative with the things that you have around the house. And number two, when it comes to your phone, most of your flashlights and the flashes on your cameras have a really, really true white LED light on the back of it. And you can use that to enhance the lighting on a certain spot of your card to highlight a certain effect. It could be glitter or an embellishment or something like that, but those things are there for you to use, and make the best use of it you can.
Someone asked if Tigger Mama asked if you help.
Well, that was
actually
Is it better to have Tim's help for the lives?
That was actually what I was getting ready to say.
Yeah.
That might be a good question to try to wrap this up on. And I think this is something that people should know, you know?
I'd make my videos.
I'll do it. This is all I do for her. I don't do anything when it comes to her videos, her daily or weekly work. I help her with the lives because nobody else here knows how to do it. But
I don't want to stop what I'm doing to learn how to do that.
I don't do a thing for her cards, for her videos, for her for anything else. I help be an editor for her for some blogs from time to time.
Because my grammar is not
that's
good,
it.
as you can
So-
tell from my speaking abilities. Watermarking.
You're quite polished.
Watermarking, sizing, and Instagram square oriented. April, 1-to-1 or square photos is what Instagram likes for your grid. You can post other photos, other sizes, but anytime you're cropping, you want to look for a 1-to-1 ratio or a square photo or anything that's like, sometimes the dimensions will be 800 by 800 pixels. That's what I use when I size things. My cart is in the way. I can't sit down.
All right. A couple of questions have just come in about watermarking, and
I'm given watermarks and I put them on my photos through Lightroom, and it's super easy through Lightroom because what a watermark is basically an image, sometimes a transparent image, which means it doesn't have a background. So that's a PNG file usually, and so you kind of Lightroom superimposes that on top of your photo, and you tell it where to live and what size you want it to be and everything. So. But Lightroom is a great big program that you don't need for watermarking.
Lesley just popped in. Hi, Lesley.
Hi. But I know that PicMonkey, you can watermark your photos through PicMonkey. I've never used PicMonkey. I just know that it can be done. I've never done it on my iPhone. I've never watermarked anything on my iPhone. Sometimes you'll see it'll say @Koren Wiskman at the bottom in a year. That's just my watermark when I take pictures of anything, so I can remember that I took it, not him, and that what year it was. And I know that's all in the metadata, but I'm from the 80s where we didn't have that metadata stuff.
And there were two questions. I did miss them. Thank you for bringing it back up. I did miss the question about it's not necessarily photography specific, but it's photography related, and it's applying for design teams.
Oh, okay.
Because I think that putting out a really sharp image and a really quality product in your imaging and in your photography, you can only showcase it best for yourself.
I do have a video of how I edit my photos on Lightroom. It's not super educational. It just shows you what I do. And then there was another question, and I'm sorry I interrupted you.
You're killing me, Smalls.
What was the one you just said? It was a really good question.
It was a really good question. Now I'm not sure I want to share it with you.
I'm sorry.
They were asking about design teams.
Oh, design teams.
And the application.
Right. Okay.
For it.
So I, when I first started, it was like 2013. And I started, you can find design team Facebook pages, and you can find hashtag design team. A lot of times you can find design team calls that way, hashtag design team call. Find the design team that you want to apply for, and then find out what they need. Okay, so a design team member works, basically does work for that company. So find out what the company needs, and if you are a good fit, then apply to be on the design team. They have design team calls where you submit almost like a crafty resume. And then there are a lot of times where companies reach out to individual designers and they say, hey, I really like what you're doing. Will you come design something for me? So I can tell you I was on the like a challenge design team first, where we got like digital images, and I'm not a fan of digis. I don't know. I like stamping. So I've never been I do own some digis, but so it was a struggle for me to create that way. And so I didn't do that very long. And then, Your Next Stamp, I was just playing with their stuff and sharing what I was making online, and they reached out to me to be a guest designer, and so I did, and I love Karen. So, and I just continued after that. So, most of the time, I have applied to so many design teams and have been turned away. I mean, all the time. Like, still a couple months ago. So, it's just, they need a specific thing, and if you don't meet that criteria for whatever reason, they're going to choose someone else, and sometimes it doesn't even make sense. So my
Lesley,
advice to you is just be the best version of you that you can be, and if that suits them, you're going to make it.
Yeah, and Lesley just she was mentioning that photography is key. I mean, if you can't, you've got to find a way to be able to showcase your best work. The only way that you can get a job is with a good resume. And that photography is really going to showcase your best work. So investing some time in educating yourself on how to take a good picture is really important. Lesley was just mentioning that as well. And
She said that that Craig actually did a pretty detailed blog post over on their blog about joining design teams. So
we'll leave that linked below then. And each company has their own set of needs and desires. So, and you don't know what they are. So if you don't make a team, it doesn't mean that you're not a good card designer or your pictures weren't good enough or anything. It just means that they were looking for something else or somebody else fit the criteria better. And that's okay. And maybe try the next time. So that's my advice for design teams. If that's what you want to do, then keep doing it. And eventually you'll find a good fit somewhere. I love Lesley. I don't want to be, I would never want to feel like I'm not part of the team, you know. So I want to be on a team that I feel like I'm part of, I guess. That's been my whole life.
Well, and Lesley just, I was watching the comments, and she just made another good point. That the design team is the sales force. That's the upfront. It's the upfront imaging of her products, and being able to have that photography, being tight, it really makes a difference on being able to showcase the product.
Yeah, and that's where the future is. Really, I mean, it stinks because I miss scrapbook stores, but it's really hard to go into a scrapbook store and see all of the great things that you can make with these stamps anymore. Can we open a scrapbook store?
No, we have other things that we have to do.
So,
however, you did ask me to tell you when you had hit an hour, and you've been on.
Do you think that we've been helpful at all? I feel like I stood up here and I showed my
I tell
card.
you, when you rewatch this for the next hour, because there's no way you're not going to rewatch this immediately as soon as it publishes. So when you rewatch it, I think you'll be able to follow right through with this chat and see just how appreciative people really have been on the topic. I think that we've covered a lot of ground today.
Maybe another time we can come back and answer some more questions. I love interacting live with everyone because that's what makes it social. Like, I can talk to you. A lot of times when I'm standing up here making my videos, I'm, talking to a camera and nobody's responding. It's okay. But this is so fun.
And this is particularly fun for me because I've been avid photographer since I was like
15
and
both
old,
of us love photography.
This is something that really touches my soul, so it works out well.
And I may not be able to teach you everything because I'm still learning, but I feel like I get pretty good results with my photos. If you're interested, it's Koren Wiskman on Instagram at Koren Wiskman, my name.
What?
And you can see some of the photos. A lot of the photos that we take when we go out just taking photos are not of cards. It's of stuff. Tim likes landscape and those type of photos. I think I shared a photo with the trees a couple weeks ago on my Instagram stories. That was his photo that he took with his phone.
What did I do?
The trees. I think you were out on a job site. I don't know. It was a couple weeks ago with the trees and the sun was peeking through it.
Hit me? Oh, okay.
So, but for card photos, I don't know. I can be as helpful as possible.
Well, like I said, it seemed like everybody really enjoyed it. So, if I don't know how helpful we always will be, but if this was helpful to some people. You look pensive and.
I'm reading all the comments.
Yes, but this isn't exciting.
Sorry. My cart was exciting, okay? That's exciting. And there's lights on the bottom. So how many lights do I have in this room? Let's do a giveaway.
You want to do a giveaway?
Yeah, what should we give away?
Some art lights?
No. Art lights are very good light bulbs, by the way. And you can get them from Joann's.
We got about 20 of them sitting around here.
Let's just give away, we'll just do a surprise envelope of goodies.
Envelope of goodies?
Free stuff.
What do you want to do?
Free stuff.
What's the qualifier?
Who can guess in the comments the number of light bulbs in this room? Okay?
Hold on.
Functional.
Installed?
Installed.
Okay.
Functional. Used on a regular basis. light bulbs in this room. And I'm not giving any more hints.
Yeah. Yes, I'm still team Nikon. I didn't know I was on a team until she bought a Canon, stabbed me in the back. I thought everybody was
I
Nikon.
still love Nikon. Thank you. I still want to get a Nikon full frame.
All right. Well, everybody's...
She said, April said fixtures or bulbs. This is like functional
bulbs.
Fixtures. Like,
no, bulbs.
Oh, you're
Bulbs
right. Because of
in
these.
the fixtures.
So,
Man,
those ones over there that they can't see, are those one bulb?
I was just getting ready to pop one. The LEDs, I think they're 3 per.
Because we have to be accurate now.
I know. I'll
There's
find
no
out.
room for inaccuracy.
Everybody's making guesses. My goodness, hang on.
I don't even know what the answer is.
Don't break it.
Leave me alone, woman. Are they waiting for us to
I
get
am
the answer?
seeing all of the... Let's give them a few minutes to decide. Should we give the size of the room? You guys have seen this. If you haven't seen it, then you don't win. So is that one bulb or multiple bulbs?
Do I have to disclose this information? It's a game changer.
We'll just count them as one.
Okay.
Because they're all in that kind of vicinity anyway. All right. I don't know. How long should we give them? Do you know the answer?
Yes.
You have the answer.
I do.
Do I need to check you for accuracy? Okay.
Are you worried that I have an
Nope.
inability?
I am confident that you know the answer.
I'm not sure that you feel the confidence that I do. Shall we disclose it?
Okay.
What's your number?
No, you go first.
There are 30 installed lights.
Oh, good. We got the same
in
one.
this room.
There are 30. So who got the closest? I don't know.
Let's see.
We'll probably have to do this again or something.
We got a couple of 32. Man, Lesley was close. She had 32.
Let's see. I'll go down the list. Oh my, that's a long list. Man, this list is long. 14, 16, 12, 6, 18, 12, 20, 12, 16,
Look at them
17.
cheaters putting in 30. I see you. Cheaters. I would try that too, though.
No, 30 is the number.
So, did Lesley just win?
Lesley got 31. Penny got 31.
Let's see. Looks like 31. Did anybody get 30 before the clock ran out? Joanne Miller had 28. Penny had 31.
I'm pretty sure it's Angie.
Looks like Penny was the closest.
Yeah? This is not a good way to do
Lesley?
giveaways.
Lesley, look, if you're going to show up late and stir the pot,
Penny,
you and I are going to have a whole
penny,
separate
penny.
conversation.
All right, so Penny wins. Penny, can you email me? It's korenwiskman@gmail.com. Please email me so I can send you a little envelope of goodies.
All right.
Is that it?
I think so. I think
Have we wasted enough YouTube storage space?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
I think that's good. We'll end on the giveaway. And I don't know if any of it was helpful, but I shared some cool stuff in my cart, so that's good. We're good.
All right.
Bye,
Well,
guys.